My next guest is a photo activist. He is an interested Kenyan, and an interesting Kenyan, I should say. His new book is called Unbounded. It's got his life story as well as some of his award-winning photography, as well as many never-before-seen pictures. Boniface Mwangi.
Habari gani?
Nzuri sana. Mambo?
Poa, niko salama.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show.
Asante sana. I hope no one is going to come and evict me.
There's going to be no surprise walk-ins on this show.
Thank you.
It's good to put that out of the way from the beginning.
Yes.
So congratulations, your first book.
Asante.
Now
it's actually
published.
my first solo book.
Your first solo book.
I've worked with other photographers and done other books. Kenya Burning was one
Kenya
of my
Burning,
books,
yes.
yeah, with another photographer. But this is my first solo book that tells my story.
It was going to be a photography book.
And then someone told me, tell your story. Who are you? Where did you come from? And I'm the son of freedom fighters. Grandson of freedom fighters. My grandfather was in jail for 6 years in Manyani prison. He was arrested. He was a Mau Mau. My grandmother was in either Merio, those villages that the British put people. My mother grew up actually in one of those camps by the British. And then she came to Nairobi to become a house girl in 1969, and she was arrested and spent some time in Langata prison. Then was arrested. So I come from a family of fighters, and that's why I decided to tell my story.
So it's got both your story and your pictures.
It's actually a story about modern-day Kenya through my eyes. So the story begins from my grandmother in 1947 when they got married, the year of India's independence, and then comes to my mother and her story, and then it comes to me. And also along the way, I tell the story about Atur Margarian, Mungiki crackdown, the story of post-election violence, and many other things. So it's a story of my work and my life in one book.
It focuses more on your photography work, though, than your activism work.
Yes, because I'm a photographer. I was a photographer. I'm still a photographer. I still take pictures. And so that's my life. The work that I do with my hands is photography. I think, and I'm not bragging actually, among every single Kenyan photographer, put all of them together, I'm the most awarded Kenyan photographer of my generation. And there's no doubt about that. If you want to have a look at the book, have a look at the book and see why I've won awards for my work. So when guys talk about, oh, he's an activist, I'm like, yeah, I'm an activist, but I'm an active citizen. I speak when things go wrong, but my day-to-day job is photography.
How did you pick up activism?
It happened...
In fact, let's not do how you picked up activism. We'll get to that in a bit. How did you pick up photography? Because that's a much more interesting story.
Yeah, so at the age of 14, I was in approved school. I was 11 years old when I was arrested for the first time. I was sent to jail for 7 years.
So an approved school, for those who don't understand.
It's a place where approved school is where they take juvenile criminals.
It's a juvenile detention center.
Yes.
Juvie.
But also, people who need protection and care go to approved school. So I was arrested in the streets, loitering. I had worked in Mombasa as a houseboy. Story for another day. I had run away from home. I was arrested. I was taken to juvenile court, and I met a magistrate who sentenced me to jail for 7 years. Juvenile jail for 7 years. And I went to a Othaya approved school between the age of 11 and 14. Then from there, I was taken to Kabete approved school, to Form 1. When I was in Form 1, it was interesting. The things were very bad in the school. And I decided to do something about it. So I left home, went all the way to Jogoo House, the Ministry of Home Affairs, because approved school under Ministry of Home Affairs then. And I tried to get to see the minister, and I was able to see the minister, Sharif Nasir, and I told him, I'm in approved school, but there are many bad things that are happening there. And then in the book, and he told me, we need evidence. And I thought, how do I bring evidence to a minister? So I went to my mother, and I convinced her to buy me a camera. And our rent was 800 shillings, and the camera was 1,000 shillings. So my mother took a lot of sacrifice to buy me my first camera. So she bought me a camera. I went back to the school. I took pictures as evidence. I went to see the minister. He referred me to the public relations people. They took the photos, then expelled me from approved school. I was kicked out of juvenile school by the government for showing pictures of what was going on.
You was too radical for juvenile jail.
Yeah, man. Instead of taking me to a premium jail, they kicked me out. So I was out in the streets at the age of 14, working in the streets of Nairobi. And the photos were taken to the Standard, where they were published. The stories in the book. And then I got expelled for the story as well. So my formal schooling ended at the age of 14. And my mother couldn't afford to take me to a private school or to a public school. And so I couldn't go to high school.
So you went on to be a photographer at the Standard, won many, many awards.
Yes.
That's kind of the summary, but there's...
No, there's a story. There's a story. So I've taken many pictures, and my life has changed a few people. But I think as a photographer, there was one photo that I took that I've never forgotten of a young baby girl who had a girlfriend then. Now she's my wife, who told me about this story, about this. Her friend had a daughter, and the daughter had a problem, a condition. She did not have, like the way you're born, and then you don't have valves to your heart. And they did not have money to pay for the doctor, and that meant she needed to go abroad for the procedure. So I went, I took the photo, and then I came back to the newsroom. Normally, if you look at the papers, they don't normally publish medical appeals, because medical appeals are very common. They
Yes.
are always there. And when I came back, the editor then was Maina Morore, who is the People Daily editor now, and I told him, man, there's this photo that I want you to publish. And I begged him, and he got me space. When the photo was published, the response was overwhelming. So if you see the photo of that girl then, and how she's going to be a very beautiful girl who is amazing, I look back at my work and say, if there's one photo that I could actually say that I took that changed a life, is that one photo. It's,
All
I
right.
call it the shot that saved a life.
The shot that saved your life, we've got a clip we'd like to show you right now.
Samara was born 31st of May, 2008. She was diagnosed with the heart murmur. They discovered that she had a complete atrial and ventricular defect. She doesn't have any chambers in her heart. And there was no doctor locally who could actually do the surgery. We had actually lost hope by this time. Once you took the photo and put it on a Standard newspaper, everyone now started, becoming concerned and reaching out to me. Worldwide, reached out to the doctors. It showed that it was actually a genuine condition. She's gained weight. She is perfect, healthy baby. 7 years later.
Don't ever question if my
And Samara is joining us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
You were amazing at the opening of the show. Just like that, and you got it.
Yeah.
So, Bonnie, here it is. Tell us about how this came to be.
The photo,
The photo, yes.
so I took a photo of her. She was very tiny. She wasn't breastfeeding. She was so tiny. There's a photo somewhere that you should see. And I was a new father at that time.
Right.
And so it actually broke my heart. And so I took the photo. She looked like my baby. My son then was a few months old as well. And when I went back, I said, what can I do?
Right.
And we did an appeal in the paper and said, she needs a procedure. It can't be done locally.
That was her then.
That was her. Yeah, that's her. Yeah. And I said that can't be done locally. It has to be done abroad. But the parents don't have the money to do it.
Right.
And so we did an appeal in the paper, and the appeal meant that can we get money to take her to India for the operation? But a doctor in the U.S. saw that and flew to Kenya with his team and did the surgery. And here she is today.
Fantastic. Samara, tell us about yourself.
Not much. But my name is Samara. I'm in class 2.
Can you speak up a bit?
My name is Samara. I'm in class 2. I go to Loreto.
What do you like in school?
I like the music and games.
Any particular subjects?
English.
She likes English, obviously, and you speak very well.
Thank you.
What did you like to be when you're done with school?
I'm modeling.
You'd like to be a model?
Yes.
Why?
The way they work, I like it.
Excellent. When is the first time you met Boniface? Do you remember?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
The
of course.
first time I met, she was a few months old.
She was very young. She would not remember
I
that.
can't remember that. Yeah. So when I talk about my photography, I look at her and I see that photography can make a difference. So yeah.
It can certainly make a difference. And it must be very satisfying to watch her. She's a healthy, articulate young lady.
I'm almost tearing up, you see? Yeah? I'm not that mushy, but she's making me mushy.
It's a fantastic thing. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Yeah.
Do you love to sing?
Yeah.
Do you want to sing and make him look, or sing with you rather?
All right, please sing something.
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, Get yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old.
Well
Thank
done. Excellent work, Samara. Thank you so much. That has been amazing. And we've just been showing that picture, by the before and after, and looking at that, it's incredible. So I think I'm going to show you one more clip, and I will be back with Boniface.
What do you think of the photo?
What do you think of this, the photo? You're small and sick, or what do you think?
Small and sick. Weeks.
So I am a photographer. I take pictures, and I took a photo, that photo, and it was published in the newspapers, and it's one of my favorite pictures. So there were many medical appeals in the newspapers, and I never shot any medical appeal because they used to be rejected. And then when I shot her photo, I went and told my editor, "You must publish this," and I begged him to give me space in the paper.
We had actually lost hope by this time. And I remember, I think after you took this photo, I was like,
But after the photography came the activism.
Yes.
After the 2007 election, you quit the newsroom.
I quit the newsroom because I thought my work wasn't impactful. It wasn't impactful. I covered violence. I saw people being shot, men who had been killed, women who had been raped, people who had been displaced. I saw the violence firsthand. I saw what tribalism can do and what tribal rhetoric can do. And when I saw the violence, I took pictures. Not all of them were published because for obvious reasons they were too graphic to be published. And then when I went back to the newsroom, I was assigned to cover the same politicians that caused the violence, that funded the violence, that were blamed for the violence. So I quit. I realized hii ni kazi ya kuosha kuku miguu, where you just do the same thing every day. And you know, the good thing, the news is very good. I don't have a problem with that. It's that today's story is gone, and you're as good as your last story. So every day, things keep moving like this. I decided to actually pitch camp on post-election violence, say this was bad, should never happen again. So I threw my hands to the newsroom and left.
Is it because you were looking for money from donors for your activism?
I didn't know any donors then. I want to tell a story that is in my book. And when I quit my job because I was very hurt and very mad. I wanted to make a difference. And I planned with a few friends to try and take a stand about this country. And on 1st June 2009, I stood up alone against Kibaki to talk about these things. And I got beat up. And I was hurt. And people thought I was mad.
You look like a madman shouting down the president at a national day.
I'm not mad. I'm very sober. But I'm hurt. I'm angry against injustice. I'm angry against oppression. I'm angry against corruption. I'm angry about those things. So if that is madness, then I'm mad. Because I'm mad against a system that oppresses its own people. I'm mad against that. And so 2009, I protest, and then 2 days later, my wife loses a baby, as in she lost a baby after I was beaten and arrested. And I've paid a heavy price in what I do. If it was about money, I'm a freaking great photographer. I went to study human rights and documentary photography in New York University. I left the country, went to New York, and then came back to do what I do. My point is very simple. I do this because I love my country. It comes from a deep place of love. There's not enough money that I can give you to risk your life or your limb any day. Let me tell you, before you cut me short, because you want to say something. When I go out in the streets and when I protest, or when I have this case against the DP, every time I'm doing these things, I'm risking my life. My life is not worth any other money, there's no value in my life. But I'm making a sacrifice that my kids may grow up in a better country than I'm living in right now. I'm making a sacrifice, the same sacrifice that my grandfather did and went to prison for this country. And he got nothing in return. My grandfather was a Mau Mau, spent 6 years in jail in Manyani prison. He comes back to Nyeri, finds that the home guards have taken over. Do you know he went to work? He went to work in a sessile plantation owned by a Muzungu. Out of fighting Muzungu and trying to kick them out, when they got independence, the land was never given back to them. He went back to work for a Muzungu. And so I'm saying, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to sit here and fight for what I believe in.
Why do you take money from these same Mzungus to destabilize the government?
So, if I was being paid, let me put this to rest, and it's very important. If I was being paid to destabilize the government, that's treason. I would be in jail for treason. I'll say this because it's important, and I'm on this show. I used to work for the Standard. When I met my wife, her sister used to work for a bank. Commercial Bank of Africa, which is owned by the president family. A bank, which I opened then even before I became an activist. So a bank at CBA. So I would say this thing. The president himself, because they own the bank, would have access to my bank account. The National Intelligence Service have access to my bank account. The Kenya Police have access to my bank account. If there was any money to do any of these things that you say, it would be here. Let me tell you, the government has a team of people who do propaganda. If what you're saying is true, they would actually leak my bank statement and what I own publicly. You see, they have no dirt on me. They have nothing. If there's dirt, you don't manufacture statements. If there's money being given to destabilize the government, there could be evidence, a money trail. Listen, I live in this city, I work in this city, I sleep in this city.
So you're not paid by donors to do your activism?
I'm paid, but to do what? Dude,
To send pigs to parliament?
No, at the age of 14, I was expelled.
To paint...
Larry Madowo. At the age of 14, I did not know any Muzungu. I was expelled for defending fellow students from an approved school by a minister. I've seen injustice my entire life. I've been oppressed my entire life. I've grown up poor my entire life. And I'm fighting that Kenya could be better. Listen, I wish you could hold me accountable or hold our leaders accountable the same way you try to hold me accountable. I'm not paid by any taxpayer. I work at a space called Power 254. We have a website and we have partners. There's no donor or any person giving me money to go to the streets. And if that was true, the same government accusing me would have actually gone public. Guess what? I work at Power 254. The Swedish Embassy supports the work that we do with the artists. So we support Giuliani, Sarabi, had the band, all these guys, Teardrops, we support artists. And I share the same partners with the First Lady of this country, Margaret Kenyatta. I share the same partners with the government of the Republic of Kenya. And they support art. And let me tell you, we have a theater that was built by the Swedish Embassy.
We did a show from
yes.
the theater.
And I'll say that the Kenya government does not support arts. I saw the art summit at State House. None of the artists that we know that do art and real art were there. Because we know these people. We live in this country. We know who the artists are. So the work we do is to empower artists. The government knows that. The government knows the work that we do. There's nothing that I do that is undercover. And guess what? Yeah, go ahead.
That said, that may well be true, but you seem to enjoy picking fights. Every TV interview you do, you will call the president names.
Have I called him names today?
You haven't, which is refreshing. But that said, you're also involved in a legal battle with the deputy president.
Yes, he sued me. It's not a legal battle. I think he's picking on me.
You accused him of some very
brave
things.
If you Google the deputy president, all the things that I said have been said before. Nothing that I said online has not been said before. And I think one of the things about this...
The counter-argument people make is, do you just enjoy abusing our leaders?
No, I do enjoy speaking the truth. The truth for me is very refreshing. I just say the truth. What I said was the truth, and that's why I'm in court, because I refused to withdraw my statement. And I think the risk of what I said actually is very dire. If you look at the comments online about those statements, people saying you're going to die, you're going to be killed, you'll be very afraid, because in this country that we love a lot, truth gets you killed. What's wrong with me speaking? What's wrong with me saying the truth? And if it's not the truth, we go to court. If I'm found guilty, well and good. If you have nothing to hide, my friend, and in public office, give me your tax returns. Let's talk about that, right? Because I pay your salary. So if you have nothing to hide, if today you work at NMG and you said you need to declare your salary and tax returns, you should do that because they employ you. If I employ you and you are my deputy president, but you serve a taxpayer's expense because we pay your salary, you should actually give us, it's actually a requirement by law.
Because of these controversial things you say, do you fear for your life?
Yes, I do fear for my life a lot. But
and that hasn't maybe told you that you need to change your tact?
It's not about changing tact. I'm not afraid of speaking the truth. If the truth will get me killed, so be it. I'm ready to die for my country. But I would rather live for my country. But if truth will get me killed, let me die. What's the big deal? We're all going to die. Even the killers will die. Even the guys who send people to harass you are going to die. You're not going to live forever. No matter how much you grab, no matter how much you steal, you're going to get into a 6x4. Every single person is going to die. Death is the only sure thing in this life.
You don't think some of your actions are careless?
They're not careless, it's the truth. What I need is actually to get more people speaking the truth. We need more courageous citizens calling out. I'm telling you, there's something called a social jail. These guys who steal, if the government will never arrest them or prosecute them, Those guys, when they come in public forums, avoid them. If they come to the bar you're drinking, walk away from them. If they come to the restaurant, don't serve them. Take them to the social jail. Shame the thieves. The guys that people defend every day are mortgaging our children's future. Kenya is a very rich country, extremely wealthy. It's being looted every day. We need to stop the looting, and you can only do that by speaking the truth. The government may not prosecute the thieves, but we as the citizens should call it them what they are. Either the word corruption, graft, too big a word. Mwizi ni mwizi. If you see a thief, call them a thief. They can't kill all of us. They'll kill me, but they'll mean in Boniface's, unless they kill me and kill my kids and my wife. My child will pick a placard tomorrow. My daughter will pick a placard. The struggle will continue, whether I'm dead or alive. It's not about me. You can never kill an idea. What you're pushing for is a better country. It's an idea. You don't kill ideas. Ideas never die.
But that said, your TED Talk was the day I stood alone.
Yes.
And this is that moment when you tried to shout down President, I think it was President Kibaki,
Yes.
and it didn't work out. You don't think that the people who support you online but they won't show up for your protest, they won't do anything beyond their collectivism?
I saw Raila Odinga had 5 million voters in the last election, about 5-6 million voters. When he called for an ABC protest, he had a handful of people. People in Kenya fear protests. I stood alone in 2009, but today if I call for a protest, there'll be 10, 20, 30, 100 of us, 200 of us. I'm no longer alone. That's the thing. The things that I say today have been said by many other people. That's what I'm saying. Killing me won't solve anything, won't change anything, because I am no longer alone. That's the thing. I'm not alone. Samara is here. Samara may be a model, but one day, what you know what she's going to do? She's going to fight for a better country. Why did we have to get a doctor from the US to come and do surgery on Samara in an independent country that has been independent for so long? It's because the government has failed to do the obligation. Access to medical care, access to good schools, access to security is your birthright, according to the Constitution. Article 43, they're all there guaranteed. What I'm fighting for in this country is the guaranteed rights. And let me tell you, I see that threats have gone beyond me and to my family. I've never come here and dragged the Kenyatta kids in a conversation or Ruto's kids in a conversation. I do have a problem when the bloggers, the guys who do hatchet jobs for these people, drag my family. If you're a real man, it's a fair fight. Speak on me. If you want to hurt me. Leave my family alone. But even if you kill them, it's a revolution, man. And what you're trying to get is a revolution of thought and mind, because this country needs to change. And guess what? It won't change through street protest. It won't change through a revolution of violence and other things. The only way Kenya can change is through the vote, a ballot revolution. The guys in power are elected by us. That MCA, that MP is elected by you. Do not sell your vote, because when you sell your vote, you're selling our future. Don't sell your vote, man. We're selling our vote and you're destroying our country. Vote with your heart. Vote on principles. It's better for someone you vote for someone and they don't win, than not vote at all or vote for the thugs who are looting this country. It's upon us to change our country, and it is our responsibility. And I'm going to continue this fight through all the threats, intimidation, death, whatever it is. They can threaten me all they want. I'm not leaving this country. I'm not running away. The idea they have is that I'm going to look for asylum and go to another country. Boniface Mwangi is not leaving Kenya. If you kill me, you're going to bury me here. My grandfather fought for this country. He died a poor man without realizing the fruits of the fight that he did. I'm going to fight for this country and let death come if it comes, but I'm not afraid. I am not afraid, and I'll never sell my voice, and I'll never sell out. And Kenya belongs to all of us, and I love my country, and that will never change no matter what.
Why does this make you emotional?
It's upsetting that people miss the reason why we do these things. If I want to make money, I'll do other things, man. I'm a brilliant chap. As in, I don't think I was born poor, but I wasn't born stupid. I was a good photographer. I worked for the Standard. They can confirm. I was one of their best photographers. I was a permanent and pensionable employee. My wife and I used to run a studio. We had 3 cars. We were rich. We were balling, man. I used to take my wife to Dubai for holidays and the Netherlands for holiday. So we had money. We made some money. We had some money. But we sold everything that we had to start Power to support people. Power wasn't started by any donor. It was my money. If I want to make money, I can do business. If I want to make money, I can sell out my voice. If I want to make money, I can do a tender. These characters who accuse me of these things, the same politicians, come, they want to work with me. They say, no, Boniface, we can't work with you. I don't work with dirty people. I don't touch dirty money. So it's just the future of our country is in our hands, and we have a responsibility not to sell out. We must defend our nation and raising our voice. You don't have to be in the streets. You can tweet, you can blog, you can write letter to the editors, you can raise your voice. Just your small spaces. Just defend that small space. And collectively, you can make Kenya better. It will take all of us to change this country.
Boniface Mwangi's book, Unbounded, launches tomorrow at the Alliance Francaise from 6 p.m.
To 8 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m.
You're welcome.
People can come and buy copies of the book.
And meet Samara.
Is it going to be available around bookshops in the country?
So sadly, I got a call from one of the biggest bookshop chains today, say they can't stock my book. They're afraid of the government. So my book soon to be in the bookshops. They don't want to stock it, which is well and fine. I know that I'm going to sell the book and send it across the country. If you're in Mombasa, wherever you're in this country, I'll send you a copy of the book. I'm going to sell the book by myself. And actually, if you can be my donors. People are saying that I have foreign donors. So buy my book, support me.
How much is the book?
It's 3,000 shillings. It's a 340 pages book. It's a coffee table book. Let me hold it so the guys can see. It's a important book. It has the history of this country and my story. If you want to understand my life and who I am and where I come from, just read my story. I stood up against oppression at the age of 14. This has been my life. I've been very consistent. If you ask my school teachers and people who know me, I haven't changed. Maybe I'm louder now, like I can say, hey! But
You're scaring Samara.
but I haven't really changed. But yeah, so this is my book. Wherever you are, come for the launch tomorrow at Alliance Francaise. And let's build Kenya together. Kenya belongs to all of us.
Kenya ni yetu.
Kenya ni kwetu.
Kenya ni kwetu.
Na tuhami. We're not moving away. We are staying here, hapa. Hatuendi popote. Yeah, man.
All right. Before you go, let me look through some of the tweets on social media. Kristen Meme is looking at that right now. Kristen, what are they saying?
Yes, there's a lot, so I'll just go through a few.
Yes.
Vincent Arusi saying, payment doesn't matter. Even if Boniface Mwangi you're being paid, your work is noticed by many. I like you, man. Mike says, Larry, be straight and ask him where he gets the money. Stop saying that he's paid to destabilize the government.
So okay, I think you answered this, but Mike wants me to ask you straightforward. Where do you get your money?
Money to do what? I said I work at a space. We have a website, www.power254.org. We run an art space. We do art. That's where we work from.
So that's your primary occupation?
I have a job, and I have an 8 to 5. I have a desk. I sit behind a table every single day. I take pictures. I was in Mombasa last week doing a photography job for Haki Africa. We have an exhibition in December. I am going to South Africa next month to do photography. I travel to speak. I speak for a living. When I was tweeting about the DP, I was in Ghana for a speaking engagement. I do many other things. Let me tell you, I don't have much money. I survive. I took a loan to do my book. I sold my bike to do my book. Right now, my car keys, my car logbook is with the Shylock, as I'm trying to clear my money so that I can sell my book. As in, I had to take some money to get the books into Kenya because I have to pay duty before even selling any books. So I don't have money. Let me tell you, if my bank balance was as big as they say, because right now I don't even have money, but if it was as big as they say, they would show you. The work that we do at Power 254 is legit. It's within the law. And the government knows it.
All right.
But wale watu uliza, by the way, wanakuanga na ujinga. Unajua kwa nini? Hawaelewi. Hakuna pesa yoyote tumepewa na watu wowote. Ile kazi tunafanya, tunapromote sanaa Kenya. Tunapromote ma-artists. And the partners that we get, the money that they actually support to do that, is actually audited, and we do everything within the law. Let me tell you, if I was involved in corrupt activities, National Intelligence Service would have released the dossier. That's what they do all the time.
Okay.
There's nothing.
All right. Let me look through a few more of those responses right now. Kristen.
All right. The peculiar teacher says, let not Boniface Mwangi be simply an inspiration. Let his work be a call to action to every man and woman in Kenya.
Excellent.
Yes. And Holy Grail wants to know, who does Boniface Mwangi support for 2017 presidential election? Who could transform Kenya for the better?
Who do I support for president? So I know right now there are two people who are the main candidates, and none of them is my choice. I'm hoping someone else is going to
Martha
emerge.
Karua and Peter Kenneth recently dropped out.
So the only two people so far.
What do you make of that?
I was disappointed, but I'm saying right now the people who are vying right now for president, I don't see any choice. However, people focus on the big seat too much. The MCAs hold the governor accountable. It's important. Members of parliament hold the president accountable. Get your MCA right, get your president right, get your governor right.
Okay.
All
All right. What else is there, Christine?
Baby Samara is so adorable.
She is,
Indeed,
absolutely.
yeah. I love
Yes.
her. She's a natural, and her dream of being a model is 100% valid.
Awesome.
I think it is. Susie says, can we download the book as well?
Is the book available? It's going to be on Amazon, something like that?
No ebook. It's a photography book. Photography you have to feel and see and look at the contours.
All right, Bonnie.
So get it.
We'll get you.
Tomorrow come and get the book. 3,000 peke yake manzi.
Nitakutumia invoice, brother.
Asante. Nashukuru.
All right. What else is out there?
A question for him. Sheila is asking, what inspires you? Because you do things that very few people can do.
Hang on. You get through that in a moment. Yes. What inspires him? All right. Anything else?
The last one from Steven, he says, he's a great guy. I mean, he is so brave.
Finally, real quick, you want to answer what inspires you?
I think my kids, they give me hope every day. They love me, respective. They don't troll me, but they give me reality. They tell me, Dad, don't hate on the haters, because that makes you a hater. So they keep me grounded.
All right.
There is no ati jina kubwa kwa hao. Kila mtu ni equal. Napango kwa hiyo nyumba. And then my wife, man. I think my wife is one of my biggest supporters. As in, the world may think I'm mad, but my wife says I'm the most sanest person she knows. She says, oh, you're passionate.
Has she met a lot of people?
She has met the world. I'm sure she has met you, and you're underwhelming.
Bonnie, thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
on.
man. You made me cry. I never cried on TV. Hey, I'm saying, manze.
I didn't make you cry. You were really just having an emotional
manze.
moment. I
Asante.
didn't want to get into it. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for being a brave Kenyan.
Asante sana. Are you coming for the launch?
I'm afraid I'll be away.
Are you buying my book?
Of course, I'll buy your book.
Oh, thank you. That's an endorsement. Tupige picha na wewe.
All right, let's.